About 100 years after the death of Siddhartha, much of India was ruled over by Ashoka's grandfather, and his name was Chandragupta Maurya, and he ruled over all of Magadha. You see, at the time there was the law of Manu, which said every man's gotta do what they got to. They said it's better to fight bad if you're meant to fight than it is to write good if you're not meant to write. So if you're a warrior, you gotta fight like a warrior. And if you're a king, you've gotta rule like a king. And if you're a slave, you've gotta work like a slave. And if you're a singer, then you've just gotta sing. So the Kshatriyas, the warrior kings of old, they went out to fight, and their enemies turned cold at the sight of the Mauryan Empire's army. They knew if they faced them, they'd come to harm Eve. Ashoka was born in 290 BC. He had 4 brothers and the little one was he. Mama went out to buy some bread, and when she came back, well, 4 were dead. It looks like Ashoka's gonna take the throne, since his brothers have left him all alone. He was only 21 when he took the throne. Well, that's too young to be left alone. Historians think he had it in for his brothers, and that sounds right, but there could have been others. No one really knows what happened back then, but now Ashoka is king, and that's the end. Ashoka the warrior never said sorry or shed a small tear for the people in fear of his might. And he pointed his finger at the region Kalinga. Not many survived, and those still alive were in agony. 100s of thousands died. Ashoka the warrior looks on. What have I done? He cried. Perhaps I have not really won. There must be a better way to live. Maybe if I turn to the Buddha, I'll learn not to take but to give. And then my insides will feel gooder. 32 edicts have been found, and what's written on them is quite profound. Some of them say to help the old, another one reads now don't hoard gold. All of them good, but do they follow the Buddha? That's one for the historians.
Bashamin, the wonder that was India, claims that in fact the Dharma officially propagated by Ashoka was not Buddhism at all, but a system of morals consistent with the tenets of most of the sects of the empire and calculated to lead to peace and fellowship in this world and heaven in the next.
Mercy, truthfulness, sexual purity, gentleness, and contentment. Mutual respect and tolerance are urged. Practice the simple virtues and be pious. He sent out missionaries across the land, as far as the great Egyptian sands, to spread the Buddha's teachings around the world. He had success at Kashmir, they say, and Sri Lanka came over to the Buddhist way. And even in Japan and China, things started changing. You see, the Buddhists, they're so easygoing that there's nothing to stop them from going when the big boys come out to play. So you know it really is lucky that Ashoka was quite so plucky. It's down to him that we have Buddhism today. There's one more part to my little song. That's okay. It's not too short and it's not too long. We weren't here all day. Ashoka built stupas for pilgrimage and circumambulation, so people would go and visit them for piety and recreation. Now the lay Buddhists had a way for them to get involved. Before Ashoka no one would stop and pray. I guess it had evolved. He changed the way Buddhism worked for good. But that's not all he did. He was tolerant of all as much as he could be. No religions did he get rid. Ashoka